I love London. The art, the people, the community, the culture. But as much as you may love it too, we are not innately hardwired to live in big cities. As the philosopher Marc Augé worded it in his book, Pour une anthropologie de la mobilité, the city is a spatial figure of time in which present, past, and future come together. It is at times a cause for astonishment, and at others for remembrance or expectation. In this sense, the city is both an illusion and an illusion. I have always yearned to live in a city that buzzes, where you feel the energy through the walls and doors. But once I found myself in a place where I always dreamt of being, I suddenly had an urge to escape it. My mother has exceptional observational skills. Her ability to observe, and not only just her environment, but the people that she surrounds herself with, and these little intricate things that she sees that a lot of people don't. Our generation is obsessed with this. Although this is such a good tool, it is just a tool. It is not meant to replace the real world and real hobbies. I mean, it is supposed to be a tool to help you learn something, maybe spark creativity. But screens have also tunneled vision, everything that we need to take in a rectangle. And it's really made us lose our field of view. We're not used to seeing this much anymore. That's why we don't notice as much as we used to as kids. Because now it's all condensed into this little rectangle. And maybe it's a matter of relearning how to open yourself up and open your eyes again. And take in the fact that you can move your head around and you can look really closely and from afar at plants or a certain texture on a wall, or maybe getting down on your knees in a park and just observing grass and how it moves. It sounds so silly, but just be a kid again and really ignite this curiosity within you. Like you're seeing the world for the first time, but through an adult lens of view and through a perception that knows a lot and is much more mature than a child. And what can you take away from what you're seeing and input it in your life? It can be as simple as paying attention to what your friend is wearing, commenting on something that you love about it. Or it could be about a way someone holds themselves and maybe something that you want to adopt from them. Maybe it's the way that they shake a hand very elegantly with a lot of grace and a lot of tenderness. And maybe you want to learn how to shake a hand that same way. Observation can be a childlike wonder, and it's all within us. Marveling at leaves, grass, tree barks, clouds, anything, rather than assuming that we've seen it all, because most of the time you'll notice that nothing looks the same as another thing that has the same name. We have to let go of the busy is good mindset. I mean, society really glorifies this hustle culture, keeping up with the grind and really doing hard work all the time. And although that is important and that is a good thing, and I find myself in that so often, it is also so important to prioritize individual moments of stillness and really sit with yourself and not always chase this mindset of go, go, go. In Canada, I used to experience FOMO. I would get so jealous when I would see people do things, and I always really wanted to be invited to everything that everyone was doing because I was just in lack of. And then I moved here, and my first year I did everything you could imagine under the moon. I met up with strangers I met online. I went out alone to bars. It was just crazy, and I wish I still had that in me. And it's definitely not a confidence thing. It is just that I found that I actually am much more of an introvert than I thought I was. And a year into doing all these crazy things, I was burnt out. I had to look inwards again and really find all the hobbies that I had pushed away for months because I was too busy doing everything under the moon, which you should absolutely do. But you can't do that constantly because I was tired. And I swear, my second year of university, there was nothing that I enjoyed more than sipping my cup of tea and going to bed at 9 because I was so burnt out at that point that there was nothing else I wanted to do. Through this burnout, I also really found grace and appreciation and solitude solitude and rediscovering hobbies and really learning how to craft time for myself and what to do when I'm bored, and nurturing self-awareness and journaling and looking inwards. We need to destigmatize that alone time is not laziness. It is just as useful as socializing, especially for us people who are really homebody people, who really love their space, who feel safe, who also know how to come out of their comfort zones within their space. Alone time is also necessary for growth. Everyone needs it. And the one thing that you'll always hear travelers say is that traveling alone is the best way to know yourself. And I feel like, yes, that is true, but also you don't need that to push yourself to know yourself. You can do that while being wherever you are, and you can learn who you are by being exactly where you are and just listening, paying attention to how you truly feel instead of all these cues that life is constantly throwing at us. But I will say, traveling is that on steroids when you're alone. Maybe that's just the quick way. Oh, this is my favorite one. This one is very personal, but you guys can definitely take something away from this. I have what I call little pockets of shimmer. These pockets or shimmer are my happy places, are the places that I turn to when I'm not necessarily having a good day, or when my old friend is in town and I really want to share a piece of who I am in the city. And it's these little places. Most of them are green spaces for me. There's also bookstores, maybe streets that are filled with a certain energy that inspires me. On Apple Maps, you can make guides of like places that you love going to, and I have this whole guide just called Pockets of Shimmer, just places I love, places I go to often, places that bring me calm and quiet inside. London is filled with pockets of shimmers. It's just about finding them and opening your eyes to them and making them yours. That's all what it is. We need to make space. Making space is so vital to who we are as humans. We live in a culture who is obsessed with doing, with making, with putting things out there. And that leaves such little room for A, stillness, and B, spontaneity. We often mirror our environment and the people that we surround ourselves with, consciously or subconsciously. When we see everyone being so busy within our lives, we tend to fill up our schedules too in order to be just as busy and to feel like we're not missing out on any opportunity. Also, as you grow older, you become more and more aware of the concept of death and how your bodily self is finite. I'm not talking about like your soul and your spirit, just who you are physically is finite, and that is a beautiful thing, but I feel like we tend to get so wrapped up in it that we just want to do everything and we have to seize every moment and seize every opportunity. Although yes, absolutely, you also need to experience life for just what it is. Not necessarily what it has to offer, not necessarily what it can give you if you go out of your way to go get certain opportunities, but just what it is right now. While you're watching this, what is it that you love about what you're listening to? What is it that you love about what you're experiencing in your environment? What is it that you love about the place that you're at physically? Are you sitting? Are you lying in bed? Why you are where you are, and just experiencing and fully embodying your physical place and using all your senses to really stimulate that comprehension of where you are for yourself. Kind of like if you're treating yourself as a toddler, asking yourself really simple questions that we overlook because as adults we overcomplicate things way too much. Creating space means not planning every minute of your day, and it's also about embracing that flow of life and that organic and raw way of which you can go about your day that just makes you tuned in to how you're feeling in the moment and how your environment is feeling, how the people you're surrounding yourself with. Creating space in your schedule, in yourself, to have moments of stillness. And finally, chase moments, not milestones. Life often feels like a relentless pursuit of achievements, of the next goal. Where do you want to be in 5 years? What do you want to be when you grow up? It's always the next milestone. What do you want to study? Now that you've done your undergrad, what do you want to do in your postgrad? Where do you want to live in 2 years? Do you see yourself still living here? Everyone is expecting you to have a next milestone, to have a next goal. You don't need to have any of that. You have to leave room for little spontaneous joys of life. It kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier about making space. Maybe it's about making space for unplanned activities, unplanned experiences, like watching a sunrise really early in the morning, or taking an impromptu dance class even though you never danced before. Even if it's imperfect, it doesn't matter. It's about chasing the moments and the memories that you want to remember. Meaningful moments often come from fleeting experiences that don't fit into a calendar. This doesn't mean abandoning goals and not thinking about your next milestone, but maybe it's about allowing flexibility and allowing life to change and to sway you in the direction that may be more suitable for you, but you just don't know it yet. Making room for serendipity and being present and really igniting that feeling of trust towards happiness and the joy that you feel when you do things that are unexpected. At the end of the day, it's about that feeling. It's not about being stressed and overwhelmed. Living is about truly feeling all the range of emotions that you have, but especially the ones that come naturally, not the ones that are fabricated by you have a call in 20 minutes and you have this meeting to go to. It's just about how do you feel when you're at your best and how do you feel when you're at your lowest, and how can we bring those two together and leverage them. That was a lot of thoughts and a lot of advice, whether good or bad. It doesn't matter. Take from it what you will. I'm really glad I shared and got it off my chest, and I really hope you took anything from it. Please let me know if you have any other suggestions. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to me on Instagram, or you can leave a comment down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you all very soon. Mwah! Sending so much love to all of you forever and ever.